Welcome back to Girl Talk. We are here today at Bella Domicile off of Nesbitt Road here in Madison, having a lovely time, of course, as always.
As always. Coffee, snacks, can't beat it.
And Ashley.
And Ashley.
You're like the cherry on top of the sundae. Ashley's with Mimosa Books and Gifts, and you guys have everything over there. And I'm really excited to talk about kind of the topics that are kind of revolving around the changing of the seasons, because the leaves have finally been changing outside, which I love. But it also means that it's starting to get a little bit cooler and the seasons are changing. What can we kind of really do to help us with the changing of the seasons, especially spending more time indoors?
Yeah, I think that's the hard part for all of us, right? We're used to summer and go, and even enjoying fall and pumpkin time and all that great stuff. But once we start to come inside, there's some things that we need to think about. So the first one is we really need to consider that we're getting into cold and flu season. We're all going to be a lot more, in a stuffy environment for a little while. We also need to think about doing some space clearing, because it's not like we can just throw the windows open quite anymore. Maybe today, but not quite really in this season. And then we also need to really think about, some things that we can start to do for seasonal affective disorder, because as the sun starts to wane more and more, we need that kind of good energy in our lives.
We've got a lot to cover. Let's start with cold and flu, because that's one of those things, especially this time of year. Kids are going back to school. You mentioned you're kind of more enclosed. It makes it really tough to get away with not getting the cold or flu. So what do you recommend?
So most people think of, the normal things like getting plenty of sleep, upping your vitamin C, but you can actually also use essential oils around the house to help disinfect in a really nice natural way. So I love using a blend of tea tree and rosemary. They have some antimicrobial properties to them, which is great. So you can put a few drops in a spray bottle with some water, go around and spray all your cell phones, your light switches, your doorknobs, and just do some really good upkeep around the house.
I love this idea, because one of the things that is so scary to me is the idea of disinfecting with, I won't name the brands, but you know what I'm talking about, the heavy duty stuff. Yes. And you need to do it, but then those products recommend that you wash everything after you use them, and I don't have time to re-wash everything.
And with kids and pets around, you don't want them coming into contact with that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So I love this alternative. So,
it smells great.
So you get freshening at the same time. And you mentioned space cleaning too. So tell us about that. What is it, and what can we do?
So we have our physical cleaning, which we just talked about, but also with everything a little bit more, feeling cooped up, it's really good to do some space clearing. So this is about changing things energetically, not just physically in your space. And so a traditional way that most people might be familiar with is through smudging, so burning sacred herbs like sage, palo santo, cedar, but you can also actually use sound. So if you have a little bell or chime, or if you're lucky enough to have one of those great singing bowls that people use in meditation, that sound vibration just really helps you feel, grounded and centered, and it actually clears negative energy out of your space.
Great.
Wow. That's wonderful. Great tips to bring into your own home. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's talk about some other things that we can do when we're spending more time indoors. Just other tips that you have to keep us kind of from feeling super cooped up.
Yeah, so one of my favorite is just to think about things that you can do to keep yourself occupied. So doing some yoga, doing some good stretching, make sure that you're still getting some good, physical activity in even when you're inside, and then preparing for that change in seasons when the sunlight starts to dwindle. I think this is a really important part of what we need to do in the fall.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, that seasonal affective disorder, I feel like I get that too. I've noticed already as the sun's starting to go down earlier and earlier, I'll just feel like inexplicably just like
kind of blah.
Yeah, blah, or even a little anxious. There's just something about it. What do you recommend?
So this is something I struggle with myself. My favorite thing is getting some full spectrum light bulbs. So they actually have the same vibration as the sun, the same frequency of light as the sun. And so that way you don't get deficient on vitamin D. You're still soaking up all those good light waves. And it keeps your skin looking nice. Everything is good about that. Wow. But you can also bring in some crystals to help you with this. I'm a crystal person. I love this. Bringing some citrine in. The ancients actually thought citrine was sunlight that had been trapped in stone. So bringing that in just helps you feel happy and kind of stay a little bit cheerful even when it's gloomy outside.
Anything to boost the mood in the winter, I'll tell you. That gray gets to you.
Sure does.
These are great ways to prepare. Ashley, with Mimosa Books and Gifts, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. And we'll be back with more Girl Talk right after the break.